Hello and welcome back to a channel called Unfortunate. Back in 2018, I visited my grandmother for the summers, and during my visit over there, I had to use the laptop that my uncle had given to my grandmother for work and stuff. And as I was leaving, my uncle saw that I used it a lot for stuff because back at home, me and my sister used to share a laptop together, and so it was the first time I actually had like complete autonomy over a laptop, and I could use it whenever I wanted and didn't have to argue with my sister over it. So as I was leaving for going back home, my uncle was actually like, you can just take this, like your grandmother doesn't really use it, it just stays there on her desk. And I was like, oh, okay. So I just got like a hand-me-down laptop from my uncle. And it was the first time, I actually got like a device of that sort of like a magnitude that, that was mine and mine alone. And because of this laptop, the possibility of, gaming sort of arose. It wasn't a great laptop, right? But it was still like, marginally better than the one that me and my sister used to share back at home. And so, again, it wasn't a great laptop. So, I had to sort of, manage my expectations. But the two games, that I figured out could work on this laptop were number one, Minecraft, and second one being CSGO. I want to cover Minecraft for another video because that's like a separate story with that game altogether. But in this video, I want to talk about CSGO. So CSGO, first of all, on my laptop wasn't like the most optimized, gaming experience. I actually got it running on my laptop because I have an old school friend of mine who actually has like, yeah, I think like 10,000 hours or something on CSGO. And he like, optimized the game for me. He's like, go, open up the control panel, do this, do that, check this, don't check that, stuff like that. And then, I had the game at a playable state, and the playable state wasn't great, mind you, because I was running on like 30 FPS. It was a 60 hertz screen and I was running 30 FPS. But I was still so happy over the fact that I got it to a playable state. And the reason for me being happy about this is because, as I mentioned in my first video on this channel, that I had not played games for so long, and this was probably like the first time where I actually had a gaming machine of any sort that was my own and I could play. So my relationship with CS:GO is so different than most people, I think. Primarily because, and this is gonna kind of be a shocker, but I have actually never played a proper, game of CSGO. Like my most played mode in CSGO is literally deathmatch. Like when I had that laptop and when I got my new laptop, I just played deathmatch most of the time. Primarily because I think CSGO being around for so long and being played by so many players across the world, the absolute skill of like the average CS:GO player is like miles above me, right? And if I'm being honest, like still to this day I get very intimidated by the idea of even playing a casual match. The idea of competitive is just like not even on my radar. Like that's insane. But even playing just a casual match for me is so intimidating. So yeah, like most of my CSGO experience is literally limited to deathmatch and arms race. Now, the friend of mine who I told you about before finds it so funny that I like arms race because I don't think arms race has like a huge following in CSGO, right? Because people just play the normal mode, right? People just play the casual or competitive modes. Arms race does not have like a huge scene in CSGO, but I love arms race because I feel like, as someone who has not played stuff like Call of Duty a lot, for me arms race is such a good substitute of that because you have the sort of fast-paced action of a card game, but at the same time you have the guns and the aiming mechanics of CSGO, which are just insane. And speaking of just aim mechanics and everything, I think like I might have not played a lot of FPS games because, you know, I was out of gaming for the longest time. But the gunplay, the aiming, the mechanisms of CSGO are just probably the best. Like, I feel like getting kills and getting headshots in CSGO are probably the most justified kills you'll ever get in any game, in my opinion, because I think the way, like, for example, like, I've played Valorant a lot, like, a lot of Valorant back in pandemic times with my friends. It just doesn't feel the same to me. Because I feel like in CSGO, you are actually rewarded for your aim. But in, like, you know, stuff like Valorant, like run and gun, like the last time I played Valorant was a huge deal. I don't know if that's been rectified or not. But I think CSGO is just probably, like, you know, the gold standard when it comes to PC FPS games. And, you know, I'm not great at CSGO, but the game itself just pushes you towards greatness, you know? It pushes you to aim better. It pushes you to position yourself better. It pushes you to learn every aspect of the game, you know? And, you know, it's a real shame that I came at the, like, absolute tail end of CSGO because while the game still has a huge following, and you can see that by the numbers it has on Steam, I don't remember the last time CSGO was not the top game on Steam, you know, in terms of players. But it's kind of sad that, you know, I'm like on the sort of tail end of like CSGO's lifespan, because I think back in the day, if you gave me this game, I would have grinded it to its full extent. But I think nowadays I'm like mostly content with just being like, you know, like, let's be honest, a below average CSGO player. But I'm completely fine with that, you know, because the game's just so good and it just invites you to come back and play more of it. Like my hard disk could be running out of space, but CSGO is just one of those games I will try my utmost best to always have on my laptop, because it's just a game that you can quickly get in and get out. And it's always such a pleasure to play that game, because at every point it is just a satisfying experience of just high quality aim mechanics, positioning, everything. It's all just so good, and you just cannot ignore that game just because you aren't that good. It is a shame, you know, like, I haven't played a proper CSGO game ever. And if I'm being honest, one of the other reasons why I sort of avoid it is because, like, I've played the game mode retake or something, or whatever it's called. And I remember having a really bad experience like a few times, because everyone in the voice comms was just so toxic. And, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if I, you know, heard a slur here and there. And like, that's just like not at all like, you know, what I want my gaming experience to be. And yeah, that's also like one of the biggest issues of CSGO, is that you find a bunch of like toxic people in voice comms, and quite literally you cannot play that game like a normal casual or a competitive game without any voice comms. Like, that's just impossible. And yeah, call me crazy, but like, I don't want people like, you know, randomly and like very openly saying slurs in voice comms. Like, that's just not cool at all. And yeah, like, that's also one of the reasons why I stay away from normal game modes in CSGO. Which is honestly a shame though, because I absolutely adored the hell out of this game. Like, I think for the longest time, this was my most played Steam game, and Warframe recently just overtook it. So yeah, I mean, I definitely have a very unique experience with CSGO. I think very different from what most people have. But regardless of how much I play CSGO in the future, this game will always have a place in my heart, because CSGO literally, you know, was the first game I picked up in so many years, and I'm so happy that it was CSGO, because it really, you know, made me realize how much I love gaming, and it really pushed me to, you know, get a gaming laptop. Like, I think without CSGO, I literally would not have had the, like, you know, motivation to convince my mom to get me a gaming laptop in the first place. And yeah, that's all I have to say.